Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I own the water filter eStore and the Water Store in Midland, Ontario. Today we're talking about the UV Dynamics Mini Rack Ultraviolet System. I love these systems, but we're going to talk about how to install one. So the first thing you have to think about is your water, okay? If your water may need some pre-treatment before an ultraviolet light, if your water is discolored, if you've got sediment in your water, if your water is harder than 7 grains per gallon of hardness, or if you have more than 0.3 parts per million of iron. So make sure you check out that before you start. So one of the many great things about the UV Dynamics Mini Rack is that it can either be installed like this one is, where the water flows in from the left side and out the right side, or if in your case the water flows from this direction and goes into that direction where you're installing it, you can turn the whole thing around. All you have to do is undo this ballast and mount it on the other side. A great feature. Okay, so where is this going to be installed? It's going to be installed after your pressure tank, but before the water splits into hot and cold. And it's going to be installed after all your other water treatment equipment. If you have a water softener, iron filter, anything like that, this is going to go after that. So again, the water is going to flow in from this side and to this side. So there's two pre-filters that go onto this unit. So the first one is a 5-micron sediment filter. That's always the first one that goes in line. And then the carbon filter goes in the middle. And then the ultraviolet light is at the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to shut off the water flow in your home, either at the pump or at a ball valve somewhere, and you're going to cut the plumbing. Now you're going to install this somewhere where you've got at least 20 inches of space above this. And the reason you're going to need that is when it comes time to change the bulb, you're going to need 20 inches of space there to change the bulb. The other thing you have to keep in mind is when you change the filters, water is going to flow through here. So make sure there's not an electrical outlet somewhere nearby here where water could splash into and cause problems in the future. You also want to make sure you mount this high enough off the floor that you can put a bucket underneath when you undo these filter housings so the water flows into something. Okay, you also need electrical outlet somewhere nearby, so keep that in mind for the ballast. All right, so once we're ready to start, then like I say, you can cut the plumbing and put a ball valve in because you want to be able to isolate this in the future for maintenance, and mount the unit. These can be mounted, you can put a 2x4 on the wall and mount it to a 2x4 or a piece of plywood, something like that. So you can mount that, put the ballast on, very simple, and then put the two pre-filters in. Typically we tighten these filter housings hand tight. If they do end up leaking a little bit, if hand tight just isn't quite enough, it comes with one of these wrenches that you can snug it up just a little bit more. Okay, so once you've installed the two filters, then we need to think about putting the glass sleeve and the bulb in. So each of the unit comes with a quartz sleeve like this. Now you have to be careful that you don't touch these with your hands because the oil will cause problems from your fingers, so make sure you use a cloth. Then there's a gland nut at the end, and it comes with a O-ring. So what you want to do is you want to wet the end of the quartz sleeve, and you want to slide this black O-ring onto the end, sliding it down, about, I don't know, what's that, about 1.5 inches, something like that. And then you'll see there's a red O-ring already in the gland nut. So you want to slide the whole thing in, and then you twist it a little bit so it goes past that red O-ring and then slides all the way up to the top of the gland nut. Okay, there's a small boss there that stops it from going. It's about, I guess, 1/8 of an inch in, something like that. It also comes with a spring like this, and the spring goes into the bottom of the quartz sleeve. People always ask me, what's the spring for? The spring is for if when you're installing the bulb, if for some reason it falls inside this quartz sleeve, that spring will help to keep from the bulb actually breaking the quartz sleeve, which I have seen happen. Okay, so once we've got that ready, then we just slide the quartz sleeve inside here into the housing, and then we tighten the gland nut. Again, you're only going to be tightening this hand tight. Doesn't need to be any more than that. Okay, so once we've got that in there, then we grab the bulb. Again, you can handle a bulb by the ceramic ends or with a cloth or a pair of gloves, but don't touch the glass portion of it. Okay, so there again we can slide in the the lamp. Bring it down, and then there's two ways the lamp can go. There's 4 pins, but they're set slightly further apart one direction than the other. So then you slide the pins inside the electrical connection. Slide that down. Push it all the way in. And then there's a nut on the side here of the electrical connection. You can tighten that up. There's also a ground wire here that gets connected onto the end of the ultraviolet chamber here with a little nut. So you just tighten that up. Okay, so we've got the filters in, we've got the quartz sleeve in there, we've got the lamp in there. So now what we can do is plug it in, turn it on. So that'll start to heat up this unit. You'll see the little light will turn on here, the green light, to indicate that it's on and it's running. So then what we can do is we can make sure the ball. We're also going to want to make sure we put a ball valve on the outlet side here. And again, for in the future when we do maintenance on this, that we don't want all the water from all the household plumbing draining all the way out of here and draining out of our filters. So a ball valve should be installed here. Now, if you have PEX plumbing, it's very important that you have copper leaving the unit here on this side of the ultraviolet chamber. So you have to have at least 16 inches of copper, or copper with a 90-degree elbow before it goes to the PEX. You can't connect PEX directly onto the ultraviolet chamber here. So keep that in mind, at least 16 inches of copper leaving the unit. Okay, so then next stage is you have to disinfect. I have another video in this series that shows you how to disinfect an ultraviolet system. That's what you need to do at this stage whenever you install a new ultraviolet system. So you would do that now by putting chlorine in here. Anyway, you can follow that video, and once you disinfected it, then you can flush out the chlorine, and the ultraviolet light will kill the bacteria, and you're good to go. If you like what you saw today, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified about all the new videos as they become available on this channel. And if you need more information, you can go to our websites at either thewaterfiltereStore.com or thewaterstoremidland.com. Again, I'm Gary the Water Guy from the Water Store in Midland, Ontario. Thanks for watching.